Hello, good morning. I welcome you all for this My Story motivation session by successful entrepreneur. So today we have Mr. Srivas Anantharaman to share his entrepreneurial experience. So I request Ms. Suganya ma'am to introduce the speaker to the participants.
Yeah, sir. Good morning to all. Mr. Srinivas Anantharaman is a founder of First Fit Business Service, First Fit Engineering Services, Silicrest Engineering Solution, and a co-founder of Jinglebid, EDSA, First Tap Sports. He is a mechanical engineer and completed his MBA in IIM Tiruchirappalli. Before being an entrepreneur, he worked with an MNC. As an entrepreneur, now he owns and co owns six, six startups, companies in manufacturing technology, engineering, consulting, renewable energy, sports, food and beverage industries. In his travel path, he has 10,000 plus hours of analytic experience in marketing and trends for few of the renowned MNC companies. He is more adept in leveraging the use of technology to Industry 4.0. He has been awarded more than 15 plus times with various networking leaders by various business forums and awarded as a best CEO entrepreneur of the year 2017-2018 by Insight Success Forum and also awarded as one of the top 50 manufacturing technology companies and top 30 talent acquisition companies in India for the year 2018 to 2019. Over to you, Srinivas Anantharaman, sir.
Yes, thank you so much for the warm welcome and the warm introduction. So I'm Srivas Anantharaman. It's glad that I'm being a part here and then able to speak about a small snippet of the journey which I came across being an entrepreneur myself. And so there has been quite a few things throughout my life of the entrepreneurial journey. Though before that, as you have heard in my intro, I was working with a top-notch MNC in the country, and then that's when I wanted to quit and then start something on my own. But before that, I would like to take back all of you to my early days, from when this seed of entrepreneurship was always there. Only that I realized it over a period of time. But I realized that okay, the seed of entrepreneurship was something which was always there within me throughout my early days of career. I mean, early days starting from schooling, right? So I come from a very middle class family background, and wherein I have been educated in a decent school across a small place in northern part of India, and from there, we were given a lot of chances to probably excel ourselves. I just that I made sure that I'm trying to grab all those chances which I'm being put to. There were times, I'll also tell you, I'm not someone who gets first rank in the college, first rank in the school, not a guy who would be always in the first rank academically, but always I have been in between first and say, I mean, not first though, like fourth to fifth ranks in my career, and then also made sure that I'm just not academically there. I'm also doing things other than academics. So right through I mean, even throughout my schooling days, if you see, I would in a year I would bag at least 20 to 25 certificates, which would span across everything. I mean, you talk about there will be a debate competition, I'll go and participate. There will be extempore competition, I'll go and participate. There will be a cricket match, I'll be all up there with my kit on it. And if there is a badminton competition, I'm up there. So the point is, I made sure that okay, I am hello, yeah,
Your power.
I'm sorry, yeah, okay. So it's been like that always through my journey that I have been that I am always into different things, and during even during our school days, this is being taught to us that even during our school
Hello?
days from second standard.
8821.
I'm afraid I think someone's mic is on. You will have to mute yourself, uh, Mr. Shivakiran, if I'm not wrong, please. I'm sorry, Mr. Shivakiran. Yeah, thank you so much. Right. So, okay. So where was I? I was talking about the schooling and all that. So even during the schooling days, I was always a kid who would always want to do something different, and always wanted to get that probable limelight or probable sort of an envisaging from the teachers that okay, இந்த பையன் நல்ல பையன் இதுவும் பண்ணுவான் அதுவும் பண்ணுவான். So that sort of thing which I was always wanted to. Maybe because even I mean all of us would have gone through this right from our childhood. We have been taught to read 6 to 7 subjects at once, right? So when our mind is tuned to have 6 to 7 things to be concentrated over a period of time for an year, and you want to excel in all the 6 to 7 subjects, why can't you run different things? Why can't you run different businesses, right? So that's the thought process which was, I mean, which came across to me as I was starting one company after the other company after the other. But then what I mean to say is all I mean our way of education is so vitally placed that we are tuned to do different things over throughout our life. So not that it does not mean that if you do some other thing, concentrate your energy in some other thing along with what you're doing primarily, it does not mean that your energy is getting lost, right? So it is going to be a channelizing of energy, just that you take priority. Like for example, if tomorrow is your maths exam, you would want to give priority to maths exam, right? So even I feel I draw the same analogy even all of my in throughout all of my companies, and see which company needs time at what point of time. And but the point is, you got to set your systems and processes right. If you're sitting it all right, it will be right there doing things for you, making wonders for you. I'll come to all of it as I'm going through the journey. So there came a time during my ninth standard, I got miserably pathetic marks in my subjects, which I was never known to. So as I told you, right? So I've always been a kid who
Yeah,
was like getting good marks. At the same time, not just only academically, but all other things. But during my ninth standard, maybe the other things, what all I was doing, took major precedence, and I started to get lower marks. I still remember the teacher who was my class teacher. She was like to my parents. She was like, "This boy, I don't know what's happening." And then I realized that okay, it's now time to buck up, make sure that the energies, the focus is towards studies as well as all other things which I do. So that's when I made sure that okay, I put all my efforts and got decent marks in my 10th standard, so on and so forth. And I did my 11 and 12, and then got a decent mark in 11 and 12 also. Got into a good college based out of Anna University. Was the college where I was doing. Only when I was doing that, I got. So you have to understand the thought process. I'm always a person who wants to excel, right? So there came an application within the IIT forum that you can have learning with IIT also along with what you're doing with Anna University. I applied for that. I got that. Okay. So now, what does it means that always I have been looking for all-round development. Always I have been making sure that whatever I do, I'm just trying to grapple along things and do different things across, so that I'm making a lot of difference than what others are doing, right? So I think that separates me as a person, if I could say that's what's your strength, my strength is that I would want to do different things and make sure that whatever I'm doing the best. I need not be that I'm like five or rather I should say that five among the six. I would rather be one among the two where I'm doing the best thing, right? So that's how I thought, okay, I mean, my life journey was taking me along. So then my graduation went through, got into uh, uh, very very renowned company, which is more of a dream job for all of us as mechanical engineers. I'm not sure how many mechanical engineers are up here, but then this was one of the best dream jobs you could probably think of for you to get in a mechanical engineering stream. I got in there. I got in there. Guess what? I got in there. I also got a couple of other offers from different companies, but then I took this in, and then and then worked there as a corporate employee for 2.5 years, and that's when I realized that okay, so you have to understand what I said before, that I'm always wanting to do different things, and I'm always wanting to excel in whatever I'm doing. Sadly, in our corporate structure, if you want to excel, there is no scope beyond a certain point of time. So, certain point of area where you can probably excel. Beyond that, it's all so bureaucratically organized that you can't go beyond that. So I said, okay, boss, this is not my cup of tea. Let me start something on my own. So this was the year 2014. So 2014 end, I should say, is when the thought process came कि यार कुछ तो करते हैं अपने आप. Let me do something on my own. Then I was wondering what all were the options available for me to do something on my own. What is my strength where I could play? So being a mechanical engineer, again, I guess one mic is on. I'm afraid if there is a moderator, please help me out.
He has been muted. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Right. Uh, Right. So, where was I? Yes. So I was talking about I wanted to start something on my own, right? So that's where all of us, I don't know, I mean, at least through my people, the friends whom I speak to, all of them have this uh, thought process inside them, beneath them, deep inside them, ki yaar, I should start something on my own. But that push which you get is only when you come out of what you are doing currently, that is the comfort zone, and then look various things with a different perspective and different avenue thought process by itself. And that is when you go hit the reality. I'm telling you, 2014, I thought entrepreneurship is so easy, right? So I thought I'll go present, everyone is going to give me orders. Doesn't happen that way, right? So I wish it was so easy. Not at all. So I went post to pillars. So I decided, okay, so I'll do I was good at engineering, so we did. I mean, my skill set was coming into the localization aspect of engineering, wherein we wanted to do localization support for various companies, because localization is area where companies could save a cost, and wherever there is money, people will want to listen to you. So if you are saving money for someone, they would want to listen to you right, left, and center, right? So that was the thought process, and okay, so I said, okay, fine, let me go. So I of course, because I was working in automotive industry myself, so I reached out to few people. They also tried helping me out, but everything went in vain. So I still remember one of the companies where I wanted to get into. Obviously, I can't tell the name. I waited there at the gate, with the security gate guy for like 8 hours just to meet that particular person of purchase department. It never happened. Okay, so I went the next day. I waited for like around again 6 to 7 hours. Never happened. And I was like, you'll one point of time you will give up, right? So 6 months down the line, you have no income, you are not able to generate revenue as a company. You see that there is there is a lot of potential in the idea which you're proposing, but nobody is taking it, right? That's when it hits you hard, and you are like, boss, இப்ப என்ன பண்றது? How do I go ahead? This is going to be very difficult for all of all. I mean, throughout me, and thankfully, then as I was, hitting again. So never give up is somewhere down the line with me always. So I made sure, Kia, this is something which I am adding a lot of value. More than all of that, I'm saving a lot of cost for the clients. So why should I give up? Let me do that. Let me speak to different people and try getting it all around. So I again take back to you a connection which happened to me. So during my college days, so I wanted to be a real different kid. Right? So I wanted to be a real guy. I mean, a guy who would see that, okay, this guy is not just academically good, he's also good very much across various things. So I went to various IITs presenting my paperwork, my project work. So I used to do a lot of these throughout my college days. So there came, so there was a prof in IIT Kharagpur, so whom I got connected then long back, and I was casually calling him up and then understanding, if he could help me. And guess what? He was the first person to get the first link through which, of course, after that 6 months took time, but then first person who gave me the first link for me to get into the first order for my company, right? So 2014 is when I wanted to start. I mean, I started, and you guess what? When did I get my first order? I got my first order from one of the premier companies called. Okay, I can tell the my client's name though. It's MRF Tires, whom we are still working with. So I got the first order in 2015 end. From 2015 September we were discussing. 2015 end is when I got the first order. That's when I realized that, okay, entrepreneurship doesn't happen this way. Entrepreneurship is not so easy, right? So it does not, like, if you go give a presentation first place for someone to hear what you want to speak, it's not happening. Nobody is free enough to even entertain you into their campus and speak to you. That's the first set down for you. Second set down is, even if you get, for you to get that order, it takes a lot of time. So only thing which I realized is you have to understand the pain point. And so that's when, I told you, right, 2015 mid is when I understood, okay, I'm trying to solve a pain point of money here. So I'm trying to save a lot of cost. So everywhere I spoke to anyone, I used to tell only about that. Nothing about my pricing, nothing about what I would do as a company. I was like, boss, if you want to save cost, let me know. Who in this world will say no if you say that if you want to save cost, let me know, right? So that's the approach which I took, and thankfully it clicked off well to me. So God's grace, I got into, I mean, the company empaneled us, and even now, with all the grace of the Almighty, they are one of our premier customers, and we are billing them quite heftily throughout our life. So that's that's about one of my company, right? So I started as, I mean, the company called as First Feet is what I spoke. We started it in 2015, early 2015, and that's my first journey towards entrepreneurship. And that's one reason why, even I think, I mean, I never know, I always wanted to do different things, and I said, okay, this is my first step towards entrepreneurship, and that's one reason I also named my company as First Feed, right? So that was one key takeaway that from that the first order which I took. And from then it was like slow and steady. So it doesn't happen like, you take first order today, the next day you're gonna get 10 orders. No, does not happen, right? So 2015, then slowly. So it's all about trust. So the client or whomever you're giving, trying to give a solution or a product to do whatever, they have to trust you. Okay. And how does the trust come? only when your product gives that trust to them. So you can say every damn thing in this world that I'm going to give you, I'm going to give that, I'm going to give that. But if your product is not capable enough to give you that trust, nobody is going to help you around in that way, right? So I was very clear that my product has to be of impeccable quality. So I have a factory in Coimbatore by which I manufacture. I have close to 15 people over there, and for quality alone, I have three guys who their job is to only see quality. So we have three QA stages, and I make sure that quality is the first thing. Though if I burn money there, that's perfectly okay, because if I don't give on the quality, the client is not going to be around me, right? So that's one critical thing which I learned through my journey in first feeds engineering vertical. Then came, a friend of mine whom I was meeting him after a long time. So he said he was from the HR background. So he said, Srivas, I wanted to do something in HR. And he was again, working with a company, and he wanted to do something on his own. I said, okay, boss, I will give you the pedestal. You can use my company's name. You can take whatever you want, and you can start it. And that's how I started the recruitment company. Now recruitment company is a separate company by itself, where we have close to 250 260 clients serving across the globe. Then came so I always wanted to do something in the renewable space, and I was like, okay, so what do I do in the renewable space? So you see, there are like a lot of solar service providers across the country. So solar installation is a space where a lot of people are already there. But I saw a gap. So whenever you want to do something, you have to see a gap which there is not, where there are not people, a lot of people doing. So if you see a gap in what solve problem what the others are not able to solve, and you have something by which you'll be able to solve that problem. The problem could be price, the problem could be service, the problem could be any extra added value which you are trying to give to the customer. The problem could be anything, but then the most important thing is you need to try to solve a particular problem for a set of customers, or you would have a target group of customers. So whenever you are doing something in the entrepreneurial journey, make sure that you have a target group of customers. You can't keep it all open, because every customer has got his own needs. So as I'm speaking to you, there'll be one guy who will be thinking about gulab jamun, and the other guy would be thinking about rasgulla. I'm not sure how many are going to raise hands right now, but then I know, right? So what it means, a person who is thinking about gulab jamun has a different need and taste bud than a person who's thinking about rasgulla. But if you're going to give gulab jamun, who is going to take? The person who's thinking about gulab jamun is only going to take a gulab jamun, right? So person who wants rasgulla will not subscribe to gulab jamun. Though, I mean, at times they do, but just an hypothetical example, but by which I'm trying to tell that customers' needs are extremely, extremely different within itself, right? And you have to make sure that customers are treated well, and make sure that customers are there with you always. So if customers are going to be neglected, or if you are not going to give the services or the pinpoint solving for the customer, nobody is going to be with you, right? So that's something which you will have to be very clear on. Okay, so in the solar space is what I saw. There was a lot of gap, and I said, okay, fine. So how do I solve this gap in the solar space? So I went ahead and did quite a few research, and understood that back then in 2017 there were very very few players who wanted to do domestic solar installations. Why? Because it was very cost competitive, and as a business model you don't make money. But I said, okay, fine, no problem. This is something which I want to do, as I want to give something back to the society. So if I don't make money out of this business, I'm okay. And that's how I started my solar company, seeing a gap that, okay, there is a lot of area where I could probably solve the pain of customers who are like typical flat owners or typical guys who want to have a solar connection in there, but they are not able to have it done. I also did a small innovation around there. So I made an IoT based, of course, it was an innovation then, not now. IoT is there everywhere. But then in 2016, 17 is when we got a Wi-Fi dongle, which was an IoT based dongle. And through that dongle, we could connect you across to your mobile phones, your TVs, or whatever, and you can see the live solar power outage or power incoming, or what is being produced, everything right by itself. So you need not be you need not wait until the end of the day for you to get the report. It used to be getting to you right away. So that was again a problem which was not there with the existing guys. There were guys who were giving you end of the day reports, but I said, okay, boss, let me do an IoT based thing by which I could probably solve this issue. So that way, I made that thing, and it propelled really well. So now we have done more than around 750 projects across Tamil Nadu. I mean, of course, in few projects we've done in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, and also other places also. But we have done quite a few projects in Tamil Nadu, and it's been very successful. Because why? Because I saw a gap, and I wanted to make sure that that gap is being filled with a solution space where others are not giving, right? So the point is, if you see, it's the success lives behind the solution which you're giving, the product which you're giving. Of course, only during the initial stages, the trust which you as a person bestow to a client or a company will stand for. Beyond a point of time, there will be no trust, right? And you can't, I mean, I mean to say, in the sense that beyond a point of time, you can't sell more if the product is not good, or the service is not good, or there is no innovation, or you're not trying to solve the problem of the customer, right? So you have to be very clear there that, okay, so if you're not wanting to start something on your own, do a research, understand where is the problem, and make sure that you are giving a great thought process in solving that particular problem. One sec, I'll just be back. One sec. Yes. So I'm sorry, I have to go. Yes. So see, the thing is, so by 2017, I had three different companies where I was already in, right? So I was doing three different approaches for three different companies, and I was fine. So I was understanding that, okay, so if I'm able to do three, I can do more, and that's when, I also wanted to understand that how am I able to be successful in three different companies at the same point of time. The answer was, I chose like-minded people like me, who would want to grow, who wanted to be along with me and trust on what I'm saying. And I also wanted to make sure that, whomever is coming along with me is getting, of course, at the end of the day, why are we all doing all of this? Can I have an answer in the chat box? எதுக்கு? I mean, whatever you do, you work for someone, or you run a business, or do whatever. At the end of the day, why are you doing that? Can I have the chat box? Chat box answers, please. I'm just trying to make it interactive so that I understand that I'm not boring you, or probably you're not sleeping at the other end. Hello? Is there someone? Okay, I'm seeing some chats. Money, thank you, Ashwin. Thank you so much. Exactly, right? Ashwin has nailed it so well. Thank you, Ashwin. Right. It's at the end of the day, we are doing all of this for money, right? So when you take like-minded people and make sure that, they join you, they have a similar attachment of what you have, and they want to grow the company as you want to. And at the end of the day, you tag it along with the money component of, okay, this is what you will make at the end of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Clear goal set, clear milestones being targeted along, and no room for complacency any which ways. And that's when you achieve bigger numbers. So what I learned was empower people, make sure that people take their own decisions. I need not go and meddle around in the day-to-day operations of. I mean, even as I'm speaking to you, currently I have like seventh company which we started 6 months back, and all of these seven companies I don't go and sit and handle operationally at all. I have people whom I have employed, empowered, made sure that they are tagged along to the money component. At the same time, they are tagged along to the deliverables, and they have the vision as what I see. So I want to achieve these many numbers, and I make sure that the team whom I select are geared enough to achieve that number. Right, so that's important thing which I feel as entrepreneurs, which we need to have. I have met quite a few entrepreneurs as like myself, and a lot of them I won't say they are not growing, but then I would rather use the word stagnating, because they 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 want to keep everything onto them. So they feel like P&L, profit, loss எல்லாம் நான் தான் பார்க்கணும். There should not be a guy who should be able to say அக்கௌண்ட்ல என்ன மணி வருது போகுதுன்றதை நான் தான் பார்க்கணும். No, that's not how corporates are built, right? So if you want to have a thought process around that, I'm going to build a big company, I'm going to have so many employees, you got to have the thought process of empowering people. Okay, make sure that you are empowering them with the greatest way, making sure that they are being happy about what they're doing. At the same time, as I said, please make sure that they have a good money component attached to it. So these are the only two motivations which anyone at any point of time is sticked on to a particular way of work, or doing way of work. So you call anyone in this world and then ask them, they would only tell you this. Okay, so please, I'm sure that you can resonate to me. I mean, but then that's what you got to think, that you got to be very motivational in terms of doing things, right? So then what happened, as I was the third company, then like I always wanted to get into the F&B space, the food and beverage space as well, because I myself like eating good food in the sense, good street down foods was something which I always wanted to have. And I said, okay, fine. So there came a couple of my other friends who were like interested, that she was, I wanted to do this. Can we do all of this together? I said, okay, boss, let's do it. So that's when we started this company called as it's Taste Studio is what it's called right now. We've got premium investors invested in that, and we have got around 10 outlets across the southern part of Chennai and all that. So we do different types. I mean, we are a full-fledged restaurant. We have a pizza store. We have a pani puri kiosk. We have quite a few different things which we did in that particular company, and it's still running by itself, growing by itself. So typically people ask me this question, that okay, Srivas, all that is fine, but then how do you think that you can probably manage time, or make sure that you are doing giving time to all of these businesses? My answer is very clear, right? So I create priorities across my businesses, and I have set processes across my businesses. So if there is a process which is being deviated, only then my head goes into. I have update calls on a daily basis with different companies, with different businesses, with the process owners of all my different companies. Make sure that they are geared up in achieving the numbers which we are committing to, and that's how things being built. So just to go back to the main storyline of what is important to be motivational. for you to get into entrepreneurship. First, see, for me, the biggest motivation was I wanted to do something different than what others wanted to. So, find your motivation. Find that what is that you want to do in your life, right? So that gives you the immense satisfaction. Of course, money, the power, the fame, the name, everything comes later. If you go and sleep at the night, if you want to get a sound sleep, there needs to be a satisfaction factor. Find that satisfaction factor within you and go towards it. So for me, the satisfaction factor was I wanted to be different than all others and in various different fields, not just one field. Make sure that I am putting efforts in all of those fields and make a different, a basic greater company out of all of the experiences which I've got. And thankfully for me, by God's grace, I have been successful enough. And okay, so I spoke about only my successful businesses. I have spoke about four businesses. There are like a couple of other businesses where we are into sports consulting. I've recently started an application where we are into reverse commerce, reverse e-commerce, reverse auction e-commerce marketplace, just like Amazon and Flipkart. We have got a great attraction there. Uh, the numbers are crazily growing on a daily basis and all that. But then I also want to speak about lessons learned throughout my journey, because that's what is important, and that's what is going to give you an indication of what you should probably think of if you are going to fall in the same trap as what I felt. You'll have to be a little careful about it, right? So the first lesson was about never get rejected by any rejection which others are throwing at you. Like a client is saying no, no problem. A customer is yelling at you, no problem. You are not getting payment as you wanted, no problem. If if you're well paid employee, the team lead whom you wanted to grow and whom you thought that this guy is going to take your business to the next level, tomorrow morning he comes and says, sir, I want to quit because I got a better offer from a different company who's giving two times the money as you are paying, no problem. So the point is never get rejected. So never get stopped, never give up. If there is a stumble block somewhere, there will be another opening by which you can sneak through, and your end goal has to be really clear. So make sure that you have bigger numbers. So there was another company which I started. So I started a call center in 2016 for uh, uh, online MBA school. I don't want to name the school though, but then it miserably failed. Why? Because I did not do the demand analysis. I did not realize. All I thought was, this is going to take up huge subscriptions. People are going to pay me so easily. And during those times, online, I'm talking about 15, 16, 16, 17, where online education was not so famous. And I was like, but I was like, okay, this is going to be taking to the next level. Unfortunately, not. So there has been failure throughout my journey also, and the failure has only made me learn left, right, and center. So before I take a decision to start any business, I do a thorough analysis. So I just don't throw balls the direction of my thoughts and then say, okay, fine. So நம்ம ஒரு company ஆரம்பிக்கலாம் அப்படின்ற மாதிரியே கிடையாது. So it's all about making sure that you do the demand analysis, you do the competitor analysis, you do your revenue model generation analysis, you do what is the profit and loss you're going to make through a period of time. You do all sorts of analysis, understand that where you are standing, what is the service you want to give to the customer, and how do you probably will be different from others, and that's the only probable way by which you will succeed, right? Otherwise it's not going to be easy for you to succeed just like that. Okay. Second thing which I always learned, I mean, thanks to my way of parenting through my parents. So never get complacent. So like for example, there'd be times when the clients, so when you have no right to get rejected, when client yells at you, the same way, don't get complacent or go on cloud nine when a client is happy about you. Okay, because it's all momentary. At that point of time, client was happy about you, and he's showing it around. That's the only thing. Okay, so make sure that you have that thought process also, no complacency at all. Okay, so that's important. Third most important thing is, I mean, the lessons learned was go towards your passion. So my passion was, see, my passion was to do something which others are not doing, and do something profitable, and do something where I'm standing unique. The couple of businesses where I failed was a business where I was not unique, or I was not giving the services as what others. I mean, I was giving the same services as what others were giving, but not a different, unique one, and that's where I failed. So the lesson learned there was, please make sure that you are different from what you're doing, from what others are doing, because that's the only way you're going to be standing different, and that's the only way by which probably you're going to get bigger traction in the market, and nobody is going to applaud you if you're going to give the same thing as others are giving, right? So that's again a lesson which I learned by myself. Most importantly, this is the last thing which I want to say before I open up for question. Most importantly, please have a thought process that you are the best. Okay, so none. Of course, there is no overconfidence around this, but please, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't think that you will be able to do this thing, and this has happened with me. 2015-16, I was dreaming that I would be one of the biggest localization companies in this part of the country. And today, thankfully, I am, right, because that was a thought process which was there. If you believe in that thought process and work diligently towards what you want to achieve, create. So as I told you, create project deadlines, create your milestones, create your numbers, make sure that you are achieving all your numbers. That's how you grow the business, and that's how you will be successful. So please, so the most important thing is, you got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe that you are the best in taking things forward. So if you don't believe in yourself, and if you think that you are inferior by yourself, you have the thought process, I'm afraid for you to get get uh, get into the second, first level to the second level itself is going to be really, really difficult. And also, on the last note, I would also want to tell you that choose the people whom you want in your life very carefully. So you got to choose. I mean, as you go along in your life, you'll get married. So please choose, a life partner who is credible enough in handling your things and giving you a right way of sense as you think. Thankfully, I've got one. So please make sure that you are giving that due respect to your surrounding also, because only that way you will be able to grow. So you need like-minded people. You need people who are with you, giving you right sense of thoughts, and making sure that you are in the right course. Choose mentors accordingly as well. So you should have mentors as you are going along, because certain things in your life which you would have not seen, which your mentors would probably help you around. So please make sure that you choose on to your mentor. Mentor could be anyone. Mentor could be from the industry, from your academics, could be anyone from your family, whom could be a role model whom you have been always looking up to, and all that. Okay, and most importantly, this is something which I very close to my heart, that I never get complacent at a milestone. So as I told you, when I never get rejected by a customer or a client, same way I never get complacent as a milestone. So if I am achieving one number in this month, I feel happy about it, but I just don't go on cloud nine, play beat the Pandora box, and then celebrate about it, because I know the next month I'll have to achieve a bigger number, and I have to start working for that right now after achieving this particular month's number, right? So that's most important thing. So on a bottom line, so if you have the inquisitiveness in you, of the thirst to achieve bigger things, to learn, to achieve, to be different, to do different things, then you got to be an entrepreneur, entrepreneur by yourself. And being an entrepreneur, you should make sure that what all I said, take cues from there, and probably have a great entrepreneurial journey, all of you. So now I would any questions, I'll be more than happy to help you out with.
Students, if you have any clarifications like what you wanted to do further after completing your BE with respect to starting a small business also, or even with respect to your father is having some kind of a business and you want to just grow it further, you have some kind of an ideas, you can just interact with him. He can give you a lot of ideas regarding what can be done.
Absolutely, absolutely, guys. So, everything starts small. I never came from a background where I had something was done. So, if you have a background where your dad has something set up, amazing, go for it and make sure that you are taking that to the next level and take do a lot of things by which you are making sure that all the systems and processes are there. So, typically what happens in a conventional smaller businesses is that the entrepreneur or the person who started the business wants to sit on the business. My thought process is, if you sit on the business will not grow. You got to let business grow. So you have to be around the business, not on the business. So you have to put people to do the things on the business, monitor them, get things done from them, and be around the business. Don't be on the business. Don't be on the P&L monitoring, day-to-day operations, because that will not, because you would have, as an entrepreneur who is starting a company, only you will have the thought process to grow it leaps and beyonds. If you are sitting on the business, where you will have time to think beyond what you're doing on an operational day-to-day basis, right? So yeah, so the point is, if you have anything there, any particular thought process around it, particular doubts, I'll be more than happy to get you clarified.
Sir, how do you employ people, sir?
In the sense,
Because how do you get to know them and they are the right person to do it?
see, as I told you, right? So I don't get up into operations at all, but then I have a specific team who does that. But the clear mandate is they need to have a clear attitude level, positivity, because that's the only thing which I look for. Second thing is, the if I'm looking for a particular skill, they need to be very clear on that skill, because and third thing, they got to have the mindset to grow along with me, because me as a startup is just trying to grow, right? So there'll be hiccups, there'll be problems at times. You'll be asked to stay till 8 o'clock, just not because I'll feel happy about it, because the business needs you at that point of time. So the thing is, all those thought process needs to be there with the person whom I am hiring, and if there is a synergy in that, I will go for it.
Sir, during your startups, so initially, how much did you invest in it?
Um, it's a tricky question, my dear. So there were different companies. We invested different amounts depending on the scale and the size of the company. But yeah, I mean, without investments, any companies doesn't grow. So there has to be a sizable investment. I'm afraid I cannot tell the amounts of investment right here in a public call. But probably, if you want, you can get in touch with me. I'll probably guide you if you're looking to invest in a company or whatever.
Sir, but at least,
So,
did you have the amount with you
Of course, of
totally
course.
for the investment?
Of course. So that's what I did. So when I wanted to start something on my own, during my corporate life, I had amassed a little amount of money, and from there I started. Of course, you got to seek help. You got to take loans if you need to. There are a lot of ways by which the investment part of it could be solved. And I certainly feel that's not a stumbling block, at least in today's context, because I myself funded 2 3 college kids who come with great ideas, just that they did not have investment. So there are a lot of people like entrepreneurs who want to fund on greater ideas, because they know that this idea is going to go big. So investment per se, if you have a great idea, go for it. And investments are no big deal in today's context. At least back then, when I was, it was big deal. So I had to raise money through different sources, friends, families, blah blah blah, and all that. But then in today's context, it is fairly really easy.
So, what are the areas that we should concentrate more while starting a business?
Right. So I told you, right, the first predominant important thing is you got to understand what is the problem you're trying to solve for the customer, and understand that if you are the only one who's trying to solve the problem for that particular customer, then go for it. If you are one among 6 or 7 of them, doesn't make sense, right? So that's the first. See, if you ask me what is the first thing, that's the first thing.
Sir, how do you analyze the market before starting a company on a specific field?
Right. So there are quite a few ways. I mean, you can, of course, the secondary data is the primary important thing which you do. But than that, even if when we started our kiosk, I mean, the food and beverage kiosk which we are doing, so we do something called as location analysis. So we send our employees go feet on street. If identifying a location where I want to put, say, a pani puri kiosk, so I'll go 4 streets left, right, and center. I mean, across the geography for 500 meters, understand how many pani puri vendors are there. What is the market share? If I go in, what is my predominant market share, which I will grapple up, and what could be my costing based on that. So that much level of analysis which you need to do. I mean to say that it's the answer is very subjective, and answer is objective with respect to the particular business which you are getting into. If it's a retail space, what I told might help you. If it's a tech, you got to rely on the secondary data which is there in the internet. If it's an industry or engineering problem, you got to speak to the experts in the engineering domain, get data from them, and only then you'll be able to draw the analogy.
So, MBA is needed for entrepreneur.
Sorry.
Sir, whether the MBA is needed for entrepreneur?
That's a nice question, Kishore. I would say yes, because for me, yes, I did an IIM even during running my company. So it was crazy times, the couple of years which I passed with an IIM also. But then it is needed. Why? Because it gives you a different thought process by itself. But if you ask me, அது இருந்தாதான் பண்ண முடியுமா அப்படின்றது கிடையாது. But if you have an opportunity towards it, and if you have money to fund yourself, go for it. I mean, it has to be your money. Don't. I mean, if you are an entrepreneur, don't go for, at least for funding for your own education. It has to be your money. So if you have money, if you feel that you'll be able to spend that 20 30 lakhs for an MBA from a premier college, it will add value. So when you go and talk to different people, people will understand and respect you. So like, for example, now I am an IIM grad. So when I go and talk to different people, tell them that I come from the background of IIM, they got to they do respect me, that okay, beyond an entrepreneur, you are an IIM also. So you would have a different thought process by itself, right? So, and getting into IIM is not so easy as well, right? So you got to if you're looking for it, if you have an aspiration. So right from my day one, I had an aspiration, a small aspiration within me, that I got to do my MBA with a premium college in India, and I landed up there. So if you have a thought process around it, and entrepreneurship is going to be helped by an MBA from a very great premium college.
So, what is the way to reach out our customers, and in what way we can find their requirements?
Right. So it is again subjective in terms of what service or product which you are wanting to reach out to the customer, And see, if you want, say, I'll assume if it's a B2C market, say if you are doing a jewelry business and you want to reach out to your customer, you are a location-based business, not not an online business. There are various ways you could run offers, you can set pamphlets, you could say do door-to-door marketing, so on and so forth. You could get a customer database, paid customer database, call them right, left, and center, create loyalty loyalty programs for the customer by which customer will come and stick to you. So the B2B, it's a different thought process by itself and different ball game. So B2B works on pricing, B2B works on trust, B2B works on the delivery, what you give, on the commitment what you give. So it depends on where, which space you are looking for acquiring the customers. But as I told you, if you are positioning yourself and telling that you're trying to solve a particular problem for the customer which no one else is able to solve, that's the value proposition which the customer will look for and come to you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, what is the process behind the Jinglebid app?
Okay.
I know you're from engineering background, and it is a e-commerce, totally e-commerce background app, and there is a part like you understand e-commerce, you do the groundwork, and you invest on it, the application. But also, besides from it, you need to get the acknowledgement from the owners of the shop. Like you're going for a vehicle, you're going for a mobile, you're going for a computer, something like that. The owners also need to be okay with the application's point of view, like okay, I'm going to bid my price on this vehicle.
Absolutely right. So what we are trying to do here is, I mean, you got the point absolutely right, Arul. So what you are trying to do here is we are trying to solve a particular problem of a corner store vendor or a corner store guy who had never access to the online pricing, or who had never access to the online portal by itself. Though there are people who get registered themselves in Amazon and all that, but Amazon again squeezes you with respect to the price margins, and you would not have a say to sell your product at a particular price as you want to. So we are trying to give that level headed platform for the sellers to bid the price where they want to sell, than to force them to sell at a particular price which probably the other e-commerce guys are trying to do. And that's, I feel, is the biggest value add which we are giving. The second thing is there are a lot of sellers in our ecosystem who never had online presence at all. Like we had close to like 3,500 sellers across us, and they never had an online presence at all. So you think typically if there is a corner store who is selling mobile accessories and mobile phones and laptops across your street, they would never had an opportunity to go online, because one, it is very expensive for you to go online. Not just going online is not expensive, but for you to reach to the customer, tell them that you are available and all that, it is very expensive, right? So we are trying to solve that particular problem, that I am doing everything for you. You just have to, I will bring you the lead, I will get you the customer, you just have to bid for it, get the best price, and get yourself a deal which is getting closed.
Okay, thank you, sir. But also, I need an opinion of yours on this one. Like, Ritesh Agarwal, sir, that OYO owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Ritesh Agarwal's company was inverted in 2013. And
Okay.
Airbnb is the same concept of it.
Correct.
It's basically an Indian knockoff of Airbnb. But how
Absolutely.
the patent works, because OYO is not some $1 million business, it's a $1 billion business. How the patent works, like the idea is same.
That's what, patent can be done across jurisdiction, across geographies. So what Ritesh had got was the credibility and patency for our geography of the country, not the so Airbnb typically comes from, if I'm not wrong, from the middle part of the Europe, and then it went along the US, and then came, it's now here, right? So it started from there, and for it to travel along from there to here, it took time. Meanwhile, this person was really smart enough. in making sure that he's creating a business model very similar to that. But I won't say it's both of same, because you have a lot of Indianized version in Oyo, which is not there in Airbnb. But he's he's very clear that okay, this is how I wanted to do, and he raised a flag and made sure that within that period of time by which the other guy comes in, he made a lot of money. So I really liked his thought process and getting himself patency across our geography, and that's no wrong.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir,
Yeah, please tell me.
if I want to sell a jewel or some products, which I
Okay.
am not manufacturing,
Yeah.
how to search out a correct person, sir? Since there are more resellers, right?
That's a nice question, Pa. So, I mean, there is no plain, easy, simple answer for that. So, you got to do the due diligence because your customers are at stake. So what you need to do is first try it out with the one or two samples by yourself, understand whether the vendor whom you're choosing is good enough for you to give that particular way of order by which you want to, and then probably you have to go the next step around. So it's all about trust which you have to have within yourself on that particular vendor's capability, the design, the authenticity of the jewels or whatever, and from there is what you have to take the next step. So start in small pockets with the particular guys, get that trust within you, and then go to the next level, next set of orders. Meanwhile, you can also on the other side keep the customers warm and tell them that you are working on it, and make sure that you will give the best order to them, best quality to them, by which they will also be happy.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any more questions?
Okay, I suppose there are no more questions. So on this note, I would like to thank Srivas for spending a quality time with our students and giving them what I could say is that an idea about what an entrepreneur could be and what your thought process could be on just starting a business or just expanding a business on stuffs like that. So thanks Srivas actually for spending your time.
Thank you, Gautam. First place, thank you for getting me in here. So thank you so much.
Lakshmipati sir, you can finish it off, sir.
Yeah. So, uh, so first of all, I would like to thank our management and principal for giving us the opportunity to organize this motivational session for the students. And I would like to be thankful and grateful to Mr. Srivas Anantharaman for taking his time and motivating the students, and also lucidly explaining how he started his career as an entrepreneur. So it was really great hearing to you, Mr. Srivas. And I also thank Mr. Gautam for getting Mr. Sivas and arranging for this time and this wonderful session. So I thank these participants for listening patiently to Mr. Sivas and also raising a few questions and also getting clarified. Right. So thank you all. So hope to see you in another sessions, similar sessions, and happy New Year to one and all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks to all of you, and happy New Year to all of you. Thank you, Gautam, for getting me in, and thank you to the management, and thank you, Lakshmipati sir, for the warm word of thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.